Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri Cardula, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. And today we're going a little different. I'm inviting over a friend and just an incredible being. He really is just a gift to our planet. He's a content strategist and creator working with incredible heart-centered female entrepreneurs to share their unique greatness in a powerful way on and off stage. So welcome to the show, Ron Ben Joseph, the man with three first names.
Hi, Teri. What a lovely intro. Teri, I just love you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're my hero.
Big hugs.
Big hugs.
Big hugs. Yes. Okay. So let's dive in and let's share a little bit about you. But you know what? When we were having this conversation, in the last couple of weeks, oh my gosh. Ron is coming on to help out with our Unlock Live event that's taking place at the end of this month, April 29th and 30th at the DTC Sheridan. And so when we were having this conversation, we're like, let's just kind of see what comes out of this conversation and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm generally thank you so much for allowing me to be here and for inviting me to be part of your amazing event. Cause I was there, was it January 2020 before everything went south?
Yes. Yeah.
And I was floored by how effective you are and how you take this this large information. I don't know if that's even grammatically correct. This big concept is what I'm trying to say of shifting. And you do this exercise, you did this exercise right away where you should with the hands where it's like one hand was bigger than the other. Did this thing and you get people to see that they can transform themselves so quickly. And that just made me go, oh my God, Teri is the coolest and amazing. And I have to say too, what was always fun, especially in 2020, every time you and I got on a call, it was refreshing because you walk the walk, you live it. You were so positive and you're like, there's shifts happening. And you were, of course, you were exploding. You were on, TV and you were on the news. And so you literally walk the walk. So I just think I just want to say up front, it's such an honor to be part of your show and your experience because you're doing it and you've created an amazing life and you help so many people. So this is a big deal. I'm very excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So while we were off camera, we were talking about, just personal transformations and when I have guests on the show, we love to talk about what kind of challenge, barrier, or block have you had to overcome? So I'd love to hear your story and how you've had to, or your journey in transforming that.
So I definitely oh my God, I love my story, because I'm a storyteller. I work with people on their stories. So I just I love that I had this story. In 2017, I hit both myself and my then wife, we hit rock bottom. We had just moved a year and a half earlier from Chicago, and we had a newborn and who was a year and a half at this point. And we just couldn't, we were just exhausted from the constant struggle and not making money. We were living in my parents' basement. And it was just a struggle. And there was a day where I remember I had $18 in my bank account and no prospects, no money was coming in. I didn't know anyone. The resources that I had were limited and I was in such a bad state and I wanted to buy my daughter an action figure that was $10, a doll. And it was I remember doing it and just being oh, I felt so awful about myself, And we met a coach at the time. And she was like, you're on the floor. She's like, you are in shock with how depressed you are right now. But she taught me, she's like, she taught me some basic things about how to get out of that and how to just instant things that you can implement that she's like, okay, you're going to work, we're going to set an appointment for next Tuesday. You're going to show up and you're going to be able to pay me. And I was like, how? Like, it was $100 and something, for the session. And I was like, how am I going to pay you? And she's like, do these 3 things and then you'll be able to do it. And I remember, and then out of the blue, so I did what she told me, and it was just about like, she's like, envision it, see it, right? 2 days later, someone that I knew because I emceed the Miss Teen Illinois pageant a few years earlier, reaches out to me and she's like, hey, do you still do coaching? Because I have some stuff that I need to work on. And of course, I charged her not $100, I charged her $85, and I had to borrow the rest from my sister.
Yeah.
But I was like, that was random as all get out. And wow, that's real. And that in and of itself gave me the confidence where I was like, wow, okay, this is something. And then it took like a year of training, and I watched The Secret a lot. That I had, like, I'd watch that every week for 6 weeks. I watched it, and then money started happening. And I even got, I was, for a year and a half prior to that, I was trying to get a teaching job I used to teach community college. So I was trying to get a community college teaching job in the area, in Boulder and Denver. And out of the blue, community college in Denver, like, I was doing all the things. I was setting the right intentions and energetically clearing my constriction and, and being purposeful. And all of a sudden they call me and they're like, we have 4 classes for you. And I was like, oh, I could breathe. I was like, oh my gosh, so the stuff works. Yeah.
It is so powerful. And when you get into that alignment, and you're, like what she's talking about, the visualization and the, tapping into it. So I think so the visualization is so powerful because, everything gets created twice, once in our mind, and then the second into our physical reality. And so if we understand that it's getting created twice, we can take control over what we are creating. The other thing is how we're showing up vibrationally. If we are in a low vibration, fear, doubt, worry, insecurities, confusion, boredom, whatever that might be, in a low vibration, we're going to be creating and attracting that. And then as we climb up that scale, I always say, like the love and above, right? So love and gratitude are the highest frequencies that we can be in. And so when we're in those higher frequencies, we can actually create and generate at that level. Okay. And that's where the juiciness comes in. It's like, ooh, this is fun. This is expansive, right? And so we can be creating from that place and space, but we cannot, create yummy juiciness when we're in the complete dumps. And so there is a process of personal transformation that we must go through to understand how to do that and do that, quicker and quicker. And so I love the fact that you were able to dig out of the hole, start to see evidence. And then of course the evidence is like, yeah, this stuff works. This stuff works.
And I always say, like, it really does work, because I'm from, I always say in my comedy show, I say, I'm from Chicago, where it's like, what are you going to manifest? Like a sunny day? You can't, like, and you come to Colorado, and I was like, what are you manifesting? What are you manifesting? And I was never taught positive thinking, abundance mindset. I was never taught any of it. And the more I got into it, and I read in 2018, as we were like, okay, like, we got ourselves on our feet. We were in an apartment. We both were getting more clients and at the time. And I read Get Rich Lucky Be. Have you ever heard that book?
I haven't. Yeah.
It's
like, called what? What is it called? Get Rich what?
It's like Get Rich Lucky Bitch, but it's like,
oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So it was my then wife read it, and she's like, it's for women, but like, you're gonna love it because you work with all women, and that one really took it home for me. That one really explained how money works, and how a lot of the stuff that I grew up with is similar to, I think, and I see now what a lot of women grow up with, which is shame, fear. Money story is like through the roof, where it's like, I'm not deserving. And so, and it's not just, and it's not just money stuff. Like, obviously, like my ex-wife, now co-parent, we're best friends. Like, we looked at that as an opportunity. We were both unhappy. She pulled the trigger, and then from that, we found an even better friendship and a better way of co-parenting. So even, in the relationship.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, by the way.
we talk every day. We're besties. Like, I went on a date last week. She coached me through it. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. And she's been on lots of dates. I'm like, oh, I'm like a high school kid. I'm like, oh, cool. How was that? Like, because I want her to do stuff first, and then I can try, anyway. So it's, I mean, this stuff is so real. And I'm one of those people that, like, I always say, if it, like, I always wanted to be the guy. It's like, if it could happen to me, and I have a 6-figure business now, you know, it's like, I mean, I just live a very different lifestyle, and it's every day I'm grateful. And so what I said to you today is I had a March, I fell a little bit into the scarcity, and it inspired me to make changes with my business, my life. And I did the exercise on Sunday night. I did where you envision the universe sends you a text or an email with the money that you want, or the relationship, or whatever it is. And then you feel gratitude. And then literally Monday morning, people are sending me money, and like people that I haven't heard from, and you know what? So I did, this stuff works. And like, how much of that transformation, just to go like going from the dark to the positive, how much of that are you going to talk about at the event, or do you talk about that stuff? I think you do.
Yeah, we're diving in deep. So we're going to be doing some really powerful experiential exercises throughout the event. The last time initially when I started, it was only a 1 day. And so it has evolved over the years, and now we are taking it to a 2 day. And so that gives us more breathing room to really dive in. And we actually have a really cool experiential featured kind of a one-of-a-kind event that's coming in on one of the days. And it's just going to be powerful. I mean, it's really going to take people to a whole new level of about, recognizing what's holding them back, but also really encouraging them to step forward and break the patterns, break the habits, break the stories that no longer serve us. And we're going to be doing it in a very safe and powerful and very potent way. And so we're going to be, when people leave there, they are going to be in a different space. They're going to be in a different energy. They're going to be in a different mentality. They're going to be, there's no other way. There's no other way. And so we're going to be really having this opportunity for us to come, how often do we really give ourselves permission to like work on ourselves? Yes, we might have a coach, and yes, we might have a therapist, or yes, we might have, some of this, but when do we really spend 2 full days doing this kind of transformational work? And so we are carving it out. We are creating the environment to really have people have an incredible impact, and allow that to impact not only their relationships, because how we show up and impact every single aspect of our life. So not only from our relationships, but to our business, to our careers, whatever that might be for the person. It's a game changer.
And you do it Teri style, like from right, like, so it's,
I don't know what that is. What does that mean?
I'll explain. It's like you wear the fantastic dresses, and like you have such style, and like you're so fun. Like I always love, you have this whimsy, and this, like, I always say it's like I'm like, when I think of you, I think of like this like wonderful fairy tale of goodness, where like I said earlier, it's like everything is like, we were in a pandemic and everything was possible for you, like everything feels possible with you, and like you're able to like always see the positive and the good, and not in a weird, like, what is it, like toxic, what's it, like spiritual bypass. I don't like, you yourself have been through a lot, like you talk about it, and you're real and you're raw, but like when you're on stage, like this might be the worst thing to say, but I have to say, like,
we're gonna just prep the editor now.
Yeah, prep the editor. If someone has a hard time, like, and I like going to that point of like, it is hard to prioritize yourself, and it is hard to go, I'm going to spend 2 days focusing on me and my inner workings, and the blocks that I have that are trying to get me to where I need to be, or where I want to be. Watching Teri on stage is so worth it, because even if you don't like my thinking, I remember being at the event and being like, even if I wasn't working on this stuff and I got so much out of it, like, it's just great to watch you, like, it's because the stuff that even if I don't implement it right now, like a lot of what you said and continue to say, like it sticks with me, and I go, I do it, like WWTD. What would Teri do?
I have several clients that would be like, I have Teri in my head. I have Teri. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, well, what would she do? And I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like, but I love it. But I think it's so thank you. Like that's so sweet of you, and thank you, because I was a little nervous having you at the event, because I had hired you a couple times for different coaching things and helping my speaking and stuff. Because honestly, like I had told you when I first started working with you, is that not 17 years ago, but that's when I started starting to dip my toes into speaking. But prior to that, I was horrifically terrified, unbelievably panicked by the idea of speaking, and the fact that I can get up on a stage and I feel like I can have an impact and entertain is I think it's a huge accomplishment for what I've put to the test. And it's not like I, I mean, I'm still working on myself. I'm still figuring it out, and I'm still, continuing to work and build and grow, and, doing a plan to review of like, what can I improve on, and so I so appreciate that, because when you were in the audience, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the coach that I invited. Why did I do this? Like, this is like pure torture.
Well, I'm so sorry about this. But even, and the reason I say this is, even like last night, you and I were at an event together, and you just have this wonderful energy that like anyone who's around you is just transformed, and I could see it. Like I always feel, but like, I was talking to someone, Anna, who you were talking to last night. She's like, oh my God, Teri is wonderful, and the reason, and I say that to compliment you, but also because it's like, it makes it easier. Like it brings down our guards. Like you are such a spitfire. You're such a ball of energy, and such a positive ball of energy at that it makes us like, again, the reason I'm saying this is logistically, it's nice to watch where you're like, this person really cares. She's passionate. She's so engaging to watch. There's something going on there. Like she's processing, she's working, she's authentic. And she's talking about me. Like she's talking about what I can do to make my life better. It's just, to me, it's the spoonful of sugar. It's like the perfect balance,
I love it. The spoonful of sugar. I love it. I love it. That's great.
Right. But does that make sense? Like, that's why I think people like, if someone is on the fence for whatever reason, it's like, go to this event, because it's delivering information that you might have heard in the past, but your guards are down, because Teri is so engaging and so entertaining and just like wonderful. Like Teri, like you are so kind and generous that it's like, oh, okay, I can do this too. And I can be more vulnerable in the audience, and I can really I can take this moment to be about myself. And I always joke like I'm a single dad, so it's like, that's like I'm like half a mom.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
Right. Because I have a co-parent who's like a mom, a full mom, but like especially if there's a lot of moms, that it's like the idea of taking 2 days to yourself. And it's like, again, that's hard. I get it. But like, it's so like watching you is just, it's real. It's a real
and
thing.
the other thing too is that, I have always had coaches. I truly believe that we get to hire coaches to help us along the journey for whatever we're seeking out. And, as long as they're walking the walk, to get that, support and education and learnings from them. And a lot of times, and I've hired a lot of coaches where, I'm thinking about one in particular where she was saying, this is the information, and her brain was what I was seeking. Right. And I was like, just give me the information. But as soon as we were done coaching, that brain got shut off for me. Like my access to the yumminess got cut off. But what I tell people is that, whether it's through coaching or through the works that we do through the workshop or through the live the 2 days or the master classes or whatever, I'm teaching people the tools, so when they leave, they have them and they go with them. And so it's not like you're just going to be, well, I'm going to soak up as much as I can. But no, my desire is really to have a huge impact. And back in the day, I was like, oh, I love working one-on-one, but I'm like, gosh, if I worked on like one-on-many and I gave them this information and then they got to go play with it, and then they did this and this and this, that is the impact that I am, committed to doing, is like, how can I give and support you in what you're doing so that it can be duplicatable again and again and again and again in your life. You're like, okay, oh, here it is. One of my clients that we just ended work together, and she texted me 3 months later and goes, I just increased my business by an additional 25% based on just the tools that I'm continuing to use. And I'm like, I think we should measure success by the level of growth that a client continues to have after you're out of the picture. Like that to me is like the profit, right? That's the profit that we're looking for.
Yeah, I love that. That's because something that I hear from a lot of clients, that like my clients that have been your clients that have worked with you, is that it's tools. Like, because you do EFT tapping, right? Like you do like a lot. They're always like, oh, Teri has a tool for that. So
that's so funny.
It's not just like, so again, I'm as a presentation skills coach, I love your presentation, but the receivable is tangible tools. Like, it's not just like,
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like it's just Teri, like the Teri show, even though I love the Teri show. It is like, you have workbook that's really tight, that's easy to follow and easy to engage with and easy to like interact with, and then you have like these tools, like things that people can do right away. Yeah, y'all go to this event, please. It's for your
I love it.
good.
Well, Rod is going to be there. He is going to be my what do I want to call it? My
MC hype man.
my hype man, my MC, my double trouble. And I'm excited. I'm excited because, you know, we just have this great chemistry. And so like even last night, like you're trying to like, you know, butt up in my space to, you
We're
know,
taking a
be a
video.
paparazzi with me, you know, and like, I'm like, no, I'm being a paparazzi by myself. Anyway, so I just think that I think it's just going to be like, I'm just open to all the possibilities. And so, you know, before we go live, Ron, what we're going to do is, you know, behind the scenes, but it's not really behind the scenes now because people know, but we're going to set our intentions, and we're going to, you know, get really clear on what it is that we're going to deliver, and, you know, what does that look like, and what is that customer takeaway, that experience, because at the end of the day, people want to be entertained, they want to be surprised and delighted, and they want to have, you know, an experience that transforms the way that we show up. Like, and I think that two of us are going to make this powerhouse team, and it's going to be for sure an incredible event. And I just know it. And so I'm so honored to have you along my side. And, you know, we're going to have the TNR team here.
TNR represent. This is like the
TNR.
new dynamic duo.
You know, we got to come up with something catchier. That was pretty lame-o. Oh my goodness. Well, I am just so grateful for you, and grateful for, you know, your expertise. And I know that we're going to have an incredible event, and people are going to have massive takeaways and massive breakthroughs through this event. So thank you, Ron, for being here and being part of the show as well.
Thank you. And thank you for the work that you do. And like, sincerely, thank you for everything, Teri. And like, again, y'all go to this event. It is worth every second.
I love it.
I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.